Well, there's a lot of concern about the economy, of course. And beyond the economy, there's also just a changing paradigm of what is media, um, what are the audiences, and what am I as a public relations practitioner? And so people look in the mirror now and say they really need to kind of reboot, restart themselves. And it may come natural, as Ariana Huffington talked about, the digital natives, and they may see that they have a competitive advantage over some of us graybeards. But the reality is this is so much more of a democratization of what's taking place that not only can the consumers of all of this information decide where they get it and how they consume it and which groups they join and who they comment on, but the practitioner has so many skills and channels and tools available now. So it can be overwhelming if you let it get that way, but I think there's a lot of smart people that have been speaking at this conference that have been talking about, don't get lured by the tactics. I'm talking about PRSA's titles now. Concentrate on the strategy, and then figure out why the heck you might want to use Twitter before you start tweeting. I think 2010 will be a year that executive management will have a wake-up call in a lot of companies, and it will take the brave person willing to challenge the status quo, and hopefully that'll be the PR officer, to say that top-down doesn't work, that it's about leading by example, and if you're a CEO that expects the company to have a transparent image, you sure as heck ought to walk the walk. So there's going to be a lot of that, so I think the PR person taking on the role of trainer in how to use this new flat world of communications will be a heck of a lot more. It'll feel better, I think, at the end of the day. You'll be able to measure your success by in so many different metrics that haven't existed in the past. So it's a year also that measurement will start to make a lot more sense, because you're going to look at a lot more than page views. You're going to look at things like influencer indexes and people starting to know a lot more about how their message resonates and what is the tipping point of when you're starting to get penetration with your key values, I think. Now, I use the term messaging. Even that is kind of like out of favor, right? In 2010, it's gone to engagement and conversation. And if you say the word target, you're going to get shot. I think that the peer-to-peer advice giving has never been more powerful than it is today. It used to be that your college professor would give you advice, and maybe you'd be lucky enough to have a mentor in your first job that stayed with you. But nowadays, if you have a question, there's just this openness to share on LinkedIn or at a tweet up, and you can call up and really you can call your competitor across town, quite honestly, and say, I've got this situation, what would you advise? And I think it's the rare case that you're going to have somebody say no, because they realize that the tables will be turned next week.